Hi all you music lovers out there. My name is Andy Rodriguez. I am also known as the Blackspinner. And I'm coming to you today with another episode of my music collection where I go through all my vinyl. And if you're new to my channel, what I do is I go through all my records and I talk about important songs on each album. Now, I've already gone through my records back here. I've gone A through Z. We talked about little over 1,000 records around there. And today is a special episode. Today we are going to be going through compilation albums. Now, what I mean by compilation is that there's going to be so many different albums here with so many different genres, different hit songs, sometimes even on the same album. So, what compilations are, it's like a playlist. It's like a playlist on vinyl. And I'm going to be going through so many songs and so many different groups that I'm going to be hitting the most important songs on each album. I know that when I was going through my albums, I would hit about 4 or 5 songs. Or if it was, a fantastic album, I will talk about them all. This here, there are so many hit songs on here that I'm actually going to be reading quite a bit. And I'm going to try and give as much history or things that I know about that particular song as much as I know. So if you're new to our channel, please, I've got other episodes that was before this. Like I said, I went A through Z. So if you want to, go ahead and backtrack. But let's go ahead and let's enjoy this episode. This is going to be a lot of fun. We're going to be going through so many different stuff. So buckle up, because this is going to be a fun ride. And also, don't forget to leave a comment, and don't forget to subscribe to my channel and give me a thumbs up. So let's get started. Right here, the first one that I have is called Rock and Roll Evolution or Revolution. And these are going to be in chronological order, the best that I can. So we start off with this album here. This is going to have songs that were originated in the mid-1950s, about 55 through 59. And this is, right there's the inside of it. This compilation is a little different. Let me explain how. This is narrated by Mr. Norm Knight. I'm not too sure who that is. I was going to look him up. But what he does is that he gives us the history of the beginning of rock and roll and R&B and pop music. And each song on here, it's not in its entirety. They're just clips of songs, and he talks about them. And hey, it's kind of like what I do. So, if I was on vinyl, right? So, and also these are also, if you can see real closely, they are divided by record labels. So let's talk about a couple of these songs that are on here. The Five Satins with In the Still of the Night, that was from 1956, and Stay by Maurice Williams and the Zodiacs. And after that is a really cool song that I really like a lot called Smoky Joe's Cafe. It is pure doo-wop, pure R&B doo-wop. It is a great song. If you want to, I was able to find that song on Apple streaming. So that's called Smoky Joe's Cafe. And I'm naming these songs because they are so important in the history of music, of popular music. If it goes to R&B, to pop, rock and roll, or even flashes of country. So if there's songs here that I mentioned that might spark your interest, go ahead and stream them, or whichever way you find new music. So let's keep going. Songs that are very important on here: Shake, Rattle, and Roll and Rock Around the Clock. Both of them respectively done by Bill Haley and his Comets. And Earth Angel by the Penguins. I'm pretty sure y'all remember that song. Earth Angel, will you be mine? And Do You Want to Dance by Bobby Freeman. The Twist by Hank Ballard and the Midnighters. Of course, that will become a big hit for Chuck Berry. No, I'm sorry, Chubby Checker. Sorry, not Chuck Berry, but Chubby Checker. And I Wonder is also on here by Dion and the Belmonts. On side 2, we've got A Teenager in Love. And let me see, He's So Fine by the Chiffons. And Rock With Me Henry by Etta James. I'm telling you, these are some top-notch songs that should not be forgotten about. Shop Around by Smokey Robinson and the Miracles. And other songs on here. This will have Twist and Shout by the Isley Brothers. That's the original version. Isley Brothers did the original version. And also, it's been done many, many times, most notably by the Beatles. And this ends with a late, great Little Richard. He passed away here probably about 3 months ago. And he ends the album with Tutti Frutti. Now, everything else that I have here that I'm going to talk about, it's going to have all the songs on here in their entirety. So let's keep going. This will be songs, again, from the late 50s. This is the 25 Rock Revival Greats. And let's go through these songs. It starts off with Chuck Berry's Johnny Be Good. And I've talked about Chuck Berry in the letter B's about how much I really do like him. And Jerry Lee Lewis's Great Balls of Fire. It's My Party by Leslie Gore. That'll Be the Day by Buddy Holly. Another important song in the world of rock music. Surfing USA by Beach Boys. And Bobby Day's version of Rockin' Robin, of course, in the early 70s. You can hear the Jackson 5 doing that, but originally by Bobby Day. And Rock Around the Clock. I know I mentioned that song before by Bill Haley. So, as I go through these, especially the ones that are very close in eras, these songs will repeat each other, but nevertheless, no reason not to mention them. On side 2, Chantilly Lace, a very important song. That was done by the Big Bopper. The Big Bopper was one of the musicians that perished in an airplane in 1959, along with the great Buddy Holly and the great Ritchie Valens. We're just talking about, we weren't talking about him, but Carl Perkins is on here with Blue Suede Shoes. And once again, Jerry Lee Lewis with A Whole Lot of Shaking going on. And Bill Haley will come out again with Shake, Rattle, and Roll. And this will end with the Safaris doing Wipeout, one of the earliest instrumentals in rock music. I'm pretty sure y'all remember that. Hey, Wipeout! And then you got the surfer guitars, the surfer guitar leads, and the drums just rumbling and a tumbling, right? And this is an interesting one. For you fans of the sitcom Happy Days, that was a big hit in the 70s and went into the early 80s. The Fonz. This is what's pretty cool, this has a little stand in the back, so that just in case you want to put in your living room a picture of Arthur Fonzarelli. Now, this is called Fonzie's Favorites. And if y'all know anything about the show Happy Days, it was based in the 1950s. So this will have a lot of songs from the 1950s. Starting with Happy Days, the theme song, Charlie Brown by the Coasters, Splish Splash by Bobby Darin. Who doesn't love that song? The Great Balls of Fire is on here again. Rock Around the Clock again. Side 2, Tears on My Pillow. That's a great song by Little Anthony and the Imperials. In the Still of the Night, which is really great because it's here in its entirety. And since I Don't Have You, which is by the Skyliners, and if I'm not mistaken, Since I Don't Have You was also redone by Guns N' Roses during when they made that album full of covers called The Spaghetti Incident. And I even think they made a video for that too. So let's move along here. This is called Cruisin' Smash Hits of the Original Artists. By the original artists, and the songs on here. I always thought this song was done by the Beach Boys, but it's not. But it's called Little Old Lady from Pasadena by Jan and Dean. And it might have even been written by Brian Wilson. Let's see. Let's see her. It doesn't say who wrote it. But, um, Wilson was known for writing so many songs for other surfer bands. Yakety Yak by the Coasters, Love Potion Number 9, Jimmy Mack by Martha Reeves and the Vandellas. What a great song, Jimmy Mack. And side 2, Good Golly Miss Molly, and Judy's Turn to Cry, but Good Golly Miss Molly, man, that's a great early rock and roll song. After that, I've got a double album here called American Graffiti Volume 3. It's not associated with the movie, even though I've got that soundtrack. I'll probably talk about that when the time comes. The songs on here is just a who's who when it comes to 50s and early 60s rock. Surfer Girl, it's a great ballad by the Beach Boys. Lucille by Little Richard. And what else is on here? Wake Up Little Susie by the Everly Brothers. Everly Brothers are going to be popping up here and there. The Everly Brothers were a brother duo singing great vocals and great harmonies. They were a big influence on the Beatles, the Byrds, and whatever other bands you can think of from the 60s that harmonized. Simon and Garfunkel, and on and on. And there's a song in here called Mary Lou by Ronnie Hawkins. And Ronnie Hawkins' backing band was called the Hawks. Later they would become the band. And I spoke about the band when I did my letter B's, but they were also called the Hawks back in the late 50s, early 60s. And also a version of Donna by Richie Valens is on here, which is very interesting. There's a song on here, Surfin' by the Beach Boys. Alley Oop by the Hollywood Argyles, and also I believe the Beach Boys do that cover in one of their earlier albums. Bye Bye Love, again, Everly Brothers are there. Ray Vaughan, man, that's a great song, Ray Vaughan by Buddy Holly. And La Bamba by Richie Valens, everybody knows that song. And Good Golly Miss Molly's on here again. And yeah, this is very interesting and it's very fun to listen to. I like to listen to oldies like this. They're great. This is called the Pop Explosion Volume 1. And a few interesting notes about this. It's a double album and it starts off with Yakety Yak by the Yakety Yak, don't talk about it. And Will You Love Me Tomorrow by the Shirelles, which is a song that was written by King and Goffin, or Goffin and King, whichever they wrote that. But also Carole King does her own version on one of my favorite albums called Tapestry. Save the Last Dance for Me by the Drifters. Runway by Del Shannon. Side 2 is going to have Walk On By Dionne Warwick. And Long Tall Sally by the Beatles. The Beatles do about 3 songs on here, and they're all going to be covers, I believe. Long Tall Sally, The Great Pretender by the Platters, and then on the side 3, we've got Till There Was You by the Beatles. I wasn't a big fan of that song, but it was okay. Just One Smile by Gene Pitney, but there's a song on here called House of the Rising Sun, which we all know the Animals did that. Also, Bob Dylan did it, and then so did Vanilla Fudge. But here, it's done by the one and only Jimi Hendrix, and it's pretty cool to listen to. Charlie Brown, again by the Coasters. Surfing Safari by the Beach Boys. There's another song on here that I really like by the Beatles that a lot of people don't like. In fact, some people call it one of their worst songs ever, Mr. Moonlight, which is off of Beatles for Sale. And this also is dedicated to the One I Love by the Shirelles, which came out earlier, but the Mamas and the Papas also do a version of that. And also Nina Simone does a cover of Don't Let Me Be Misunderstood. And right here, the next one that I have, this is a 2-record set. A lot of these are going to be double, triple, sometimes even quadruple sets. This is going to be 25 number 1 hits from 25 years of Motown. Can you believe that? 25 number 1 hits. So I'll probably name every single one on here. So side 1, Please Mr. Postman by the Marvelettes, Baby Love by the Supremes, My Girl by the Temptations, I Can't Help Myself, Sugar Pie Honey Bunch by the Four Tops, Reach Out, I'll Be There by the Four Tops again, I Heard It Through the Grapevine by Marvin Gaye, CCR, just a killer version of that, just killer, where they stretch out this R&B pop song from a 2.5 minute to almost a 12-minute song. And I Want You Back by the Jackson 5. Yeah, I'm going to be naming these quite a bit. And what I like about this compilation, everything is in chronological order, which we all know how much I love that. Side 2 is going to have the Temptations. Papa Was a Rolling Stone. You know, when the Temptations moved into the 70s, man, their music really took a big turn from what we were used to listening in the 60s. They really changed with the change. They really changed with the changes that were coming along. Another artist that were breaking boundaries with Motown, Stevie Wonder, where he started singing his own songs, producing his own songs, playing every instrument. On this one, on this compilation, we got Superstition and You Are the Sunshine of My Life. And someone else who broke barriers at that time was Marvin Gaye with Let's Get It On. In side 3, we got ABC by the Jackson 5, Ain't No Mountain High Enough by Diana Ross, when Diana Ross left the Supremes, went on her own, I'll Be There by the Jackson 5, Tears of a Clown by Smokey Robinson and the Miracles, and one of my favorite songs by the Temptations, Just My Imagination, Running Away With Me. What's Going On by Marvin Gaye. We're getting to side 4. We're getting into the late 70s. And that will give us 3 Times a Lady by the Commodores, which the lead is Lionel Richie, and Still also by the Commodores. And this ends with Endless Love with Diana Ross and Lionel Richie. It's quite a bit of songs, isn't it? That's a fun listen to, I'm telling you that. And I bought this one probably about 3 months ago, so I haven't read it. I haven't heard it that many times, but this is called, what is this called? The Decade of the 60s. And the songs on here are a trip. That's all I'm going to tell you. You know, when there were, back in the 60s, there were a lot of musicals and movies with song in there. So it starts off with Hello Dolly, which was a big hit for them. And in the year 2525 is a weird song. The Lion Sleeps Tonight, originally done by the Tokens. And we all know that song, The Lion Sleeps Tonight. The Ballad of the Green Berets, which is a great, great song. Side 2 has Big Bad John. Big Bad John. By Jimmy Dean. And the Guess Who is on here with Laughing. And the Guess Who is here again with These Eyes, which are both great songs by the Guess Who. I spoke about the Guess Who when I did the G's. Get Together by the Youngbloods. Come on, everybody. Get together. Everybody. Get together right now. Something like that. I probably got it wrong. I butchered it. Sorry about that. Also, a song on here, the Harper Valley PTA is a really good song. And the rest of it's okay. But yeah, like I said, it's kind of interesting album. It's a hodgepodge of different things. So we're moving into the 60s now. We're getting into the early 60s where music is starting to get a little bit more daring in what they're doing. I don't think we're there yet. This is chart toppers of the early 60s. So let's think about 61 to 63. Lightning Strikes by Lou Christie, which is a good song. Soldier Boy by the Shirelles. A little bit of soul. And Telstar by the Tornadoes. That's a killer song. On side 2, I'm going to mention them again. So popular at this time. Everly Brothers with one of my favorite songs by them, Kathy's Clown. Also Hang On Sloopy, which was a big, big hit at that time. And Georgie Girl by the Seekers. And Run Around Sue by Dion. That might have been Dion's one of his last hits. And what we have here, the Great American Rock and Roll Revival. 30 songs on here. This is going to be a double album. So I'm going to go through these songs. So some of them are going to be repeated, but I'm going to mention them anyway because they deserve it. Runaway by Del Shannon. Raindrops Keep Falling on My Head by B.J. Thomas. Raindrops Keep Falling on My Head. Run Around Sue by Dion. Soldier Boy again. Hooked on a Feeling. I'm High on Believing that I'm in love with you, that you're in love with me. And Since I Don't Have You is on here again. And also Surfer Girl's on here. Oh, another song by Bill Haley in the comments that we have not mentioned. See You Later, Alligator. That's a good song. Rock and Roll Revival. And a couple of other songs that are on here that I've already mentioned, but still make it a good listen. And what I have here is, I believe, I'm not too sure, but I think this was a radio station out of LA that would release albums, compilations, KRLA 21 Solid Hits. And the songs on here, they're kind of not hit songs. We got Dirty Water by the Standells, Leader of the Pack. You know what? I take that back. There are a lot of hits on here. The Leader of the Pack. Vroom, vroom. Solitary Man by Neil Diamond. The Land of a Thousand Dances. Hanky Panky by Tommy James and the Shondells. That's a hell of a song. My little girl does the hanky panky. The Boy from New York City by the Ad-Libs. 5 O'Clock World by the Vogues. The Chiffons doing Sweet Talking Guy. Yeah, this was, I take that back. This had a lot of hits. This was an interesting listen to. And from there, original hits from 45 stars. So there's 45 songs on here. It's called Keep On Rockin'. This is going to be a 1, 2, 3. This is a quadruple set. So, and it's so fun because each side has so many different mixtures of music and so many different genres, and they were all hit songs. So, record 1 has Along Comes Mary by the Association, and Along Comes Mary. And also Norman Greenbaum doing Spirit in the Sky. And Society's Child by Janice Ian, and Let's Live for Today by the Grassroots. Side B is going to have Stephen Stills doing Love the One You're With, Spooky by Classics 4, 1 by Three Dog Night, not Metallica, but Three Dog Night. 1 is the loneliest number. Interesting song after that. Different Drum, sang by Linda Ronstadt and the Stone Ponies. That song was written by Mike Nesmith from the Monkees, and he wrote it early on. And the Monkees, Mickey Dolenz was just talking about this. I was reading about it a couple of days ago. How in between takes of the shows they would practice that song because there was a lot of time in between shooting, and it was a long day. So Mike would be writing songs, and they would practice that song, Different Drum, and they passed it on to Linda Ronstadt, which was her first big hit, and it's a great song. And also another 2 great songs on this side, Fire and Rain by James Taylor, which is my favorite song by James Taylor, and also Happy Together by the Turtles. Let's go to side 3. Side 3 isn't as interesting. What is interesting on here is Inagata Devita in its short form. In short form, it's not the 18-minute song. Side 4. Side 4 is a trip. It's going to start off with Truckin' by the Grateful Dead. On the Road Again by Ken. Y'all, of course, remember that song with that harmonica. Dude, on the road again. And Monday, Monday by the Mamas and the Papas. And this ends with Shadows of Night doing their version. Or it might even be the original version of Gloria. 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 So let's go with side 5, ladies and gentlemen. This has 6 O'Clock by the Loving Spoonful. And the Delphonics doing Didn't I Blow Your Mind? That's a great song. It's got that early funky R&B. And You Keep Me Hanging On by the Vanilla Fudge. Side 5 has Just Dropped In by Kenny Rogers in the first edition. This was early Kenny Rogers when he was doing a lot of psychedelic. And a cover by Aretha Franklin doing Bridge Over Troubled Water. Of course, that great voice of hers put so much soul into that. And this will end on that side, Eve of Destruction by Barry McGuire. Side 7 will have Donovan's Mellow Yellow, Everyday People by Sly and the Family Stone. He Ain't Heavy, He's My Brother. That's a damn good song by the Hollies. And the last side, I'm gonna name every song on this side. 8 Miles High by the Byrds, Evil Ways by Santana, Spinning Wheel by Blood, Sweat and Tears, San Francisco by Scott McKenzie. Be sure to wear some flowers in your hair. And this will end it all on this side, side 8, being Hold Your Head Up by Argent. Dun, dun, dun. That is a hell of an album. That is a hell of a playlist, I'm telling you. This is a double album, I believe. Is this a double? It is a double. This is called Grassroots, which you can tell by the cover. It's going to be kind of hippie-ish. This is going to be about mid to late 60s. Record 1, side A, Getting Some Lovin'. And this has the Steam doing na 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 na, hey hey hey, Kiss 'Em Goodbye, which I'm pretty sure we've all heard that before in one form or another. And also this will have Time of the Season by the Zombies. San Francisco Nights. That is a good song. It wasn't a hit for them, but that's by Eric Burdon and the Animals. And this will have Evil Ways by Santana. And record 2, Tired of Waiting by the Kinks. That's one of my favorite Kinks songs. And Born to Be Wild by Steppenwolf. We really haven't talked about Steppenwolf on these compilations. You would think they pop up more, but we do get it right here. We do get Born to Be Wild, which I spoke about Steppenwolf when I did the Esses. And side B, I had Too Much to Dream Last Night by the Electric Prunes. You Keep Me Hanging On by Vanilla Fudge. Incense and Peppermints. And again, a short version of Inagata Davida. And the Blue Magoos. The Blue Magoos, a very important band. They were very small, obscure band, but they had a couple of big hits for the short period they were together. We Ain't Got Nothing Yet by them. And we moving right along. Good Vibrations, 22 original hits from the 22 original artists as seen on TV. Says that down here. If you remember, I don't know how old y'all are, but I'm 45. So when I was a kid, they would have all these different commercials. Oh, well, they still have them on cable, but there were, they would have all these song titles going up and down the screen. Those were the good times. The songs on here, let's get to going. This looks to me late 60s, early 70s with Johnny Nash. I Can See Clearly Now, The Rain Is Gone. And Harold Melvin, the Blue Notes, doing the original version, If You Don't Know Me By Now. And another good song by the Hollies. The Hollies are a band I really need to get into more. And, I know them, but I need to get into them more. Long Cool Woman in a Black Dress. Rod Stewart is on here, and he does Handbags and Glad Rags. And Sly and the Family Stone is on here again. Thank you for letting me be myself. And aside to what is really cool about this song, It Never Rains in Southern California, it's done by Albert Hammond Sr., father of Albert Hammond Jr., which we all know he's done a lot of great solo work, but also he is one of the guitarists and one of the writers in the great alternative rock band, The Strokes. And King Harvest, Dancing in the Moonlight is on here. James Brown, Down and Out of New York City is on here. And Mock the Hoople, All the Young Dudes is on here. All the Young Dudes was written and produced by David Bowie. You know, at the time, this band, Mock the Hoople, they're a 70s glam rock band. And they were scuffling, you know, another band that was just going to go out in obscurity until David Bowie said, hey, let me give you this song. And it's All the Young Dudes, and it's a really good song. And what we have here, this is a time capsule double live LP. We all know how much I love the double live album. This is called Watt Stax. Now, when I was talking about Booker T and the MG and Stax Records, they are like the Motown of the South. They're located in Memphis. So all the artists came from Stax. And it's called Watt Stax because it was the 10th I think there was a free show in Los Angeles, California. And what it was the 10th anniversary of the Watt Riots. And they put a lot of these bands together. Isaac Hayes, the Staple Sisters, Albert King. Albert King is one of the great bluesmen. And Carla Thomas and the Bar-Kays. The Bar-Kays are fantastic soul from the 60s. All this is fantastic soul from the 60s. I'm not going to go through the songs because I don't know the songs that well yet. I have had this for a while, and for some reason I just haven't listened to it as much as I should have. But I know how important it was when it was released, and everything that I talked about, how this album came about, I read inside here, which tells you what the commemoration was for and how everything was. And this was presented by K-Tels. This is Mindbenders. Check out that album cover, huh? That's pretty neat. And Mindbenders, and they're not that much of a mind bender where it's going to blow your mind, say, man, this is psychedelic. Because it's not. You Sexy Thing by Hot Chocolate. Also, I'm going to name these songs that are on here because it's a great mix. Rock and Roll All Night by Kiss. Then Lady Marmalade by LaBelle. Let me see here. War with Lowrider. Isn't that a hell of a song? All my friends drive a lowrider. I'm Not in Love by 10cc. And the Ozark Mountain Daredevils, If You Want to Get to Heaven. And side 2, interesting as well, Love Roller Coaster by the Ohio Players. Also, a fun fact for the Beavis and Butthead Do America, the soundtrack, that song is redone by the Red Hot Chili Peppers. Also, Rocket Man by Elton John is on here. That's odd for it to be in here. And Hit the Road Jack by the Stampeders. Casey and the Sunshine Band doing That's the Way I Like It. Wow, this is odd that this song will be on here. How Long by Ace. And Third Rate Romance by the Amazing Rhythm Aces. And this will end with Convoy by C.W. McCall. Look at that, Convoy. Now this album here is called Songbird. And this is going to have a lot of the early, easy listening 70s songs on here. So Every Woman in the World by Air Supply, that's more 80s. I told you that was going to be hard for me to make this go in order in compilation style. Biggest Part of Me by Ambrosia. More Than I Can Say by Leo Sayer. I remember that song. I love you more than I can say. Looking for Love by Johnny Lee. You know what? That should have been a little bit lower, but that's alright. Killing Time. And this great song by James Taylor called Her Town 2. This used to be her town. And this here called Menu Hot Platters. This is kind of weird too. Here's the inside of it, and this has little bios on each band that's on here. And so let's go through the important part. This is a double album. This is going to have, a lot of different stuff that they wrote that they gave credit to was wrong. Like, this starts off with a band called Deep Blue. And I guess whoever owned this before scratched out Blue and corrected it and put Deep Purple. Because this song is Strange Kind of Woman by Deep Purple. That's how this starts off. LaBelle, Shades of Difference. And T-Rex is on here with Hot Love. And side 2 is going to have, it's called Stouthead Stew. And this is going to have more singer-songwriters on this side. We are talking about Randy Newman, Norman Greenbaum, and not too many others that I can speak of. And over here on side 3, the Beach Boys with Field Flows. That was more of a 70s song for them. The Kinks, Animals in the Zoo. Never heard it. And side 4 is the Blues. Ronnie Millsap is on here. That's crazy. Ronnie Millsap. Who would have thought that Deep Purple and Ronnie Millsap would have been on the same album somewhere? So we're getting into the mid-70s. The next few albums, well, maybe not all of them, but we're getting into a rockier sound, which we all know how much I love rock and roll. So this is called just plain the rock album. And this has songs like Don't Bring Me Down by Electric Light Orchestra, Dirty White Boy by Foreigner, Two Tickets to Paradise by Eddie Money, Don't Fear the Reaper by Blue Oyster Cult, which is a great song, The Dream Police by Cheap Trick, and Bad Case of Loving You by Robert Palmer. That's awesome. Doctor, give me the news. I got a bad case of loving you. Side 2, Sticks with Renegade, Boston with More Than a Feeling, and Lovin', Touchin', Squeezin' by Journey, Carry On, Wayward Son by Kansas, and also Hold the Line by Toto. Interesting, this is just a great playlist, is what it is. And this is something that's pretty fun. The Friday rock show from the BBC Radio. And the bands on here are a trip. Spider, Diamond Head is on here. And on side 2 we've got Demon and Witchfind. And a lot of these songs are going to be a very, very heavy form of hard rock that kind of stayed, didn't quite hit the mainstream, but really good stuff to listen to. Now this is a another compilation. This is kind of like love songs, easy listening 70s. Yacht Rock is what they call it these days. Let's go with Ooh Child by the Stair Steps. Well, that's more R&B. Somebody Done Somebody Wrong song by B.J. Thomas. That's a fun song to listen to. And I Can See Clearly Now by Johnny Nash. Oh Girl by the Trilights. Oh girl, I'll be in trouble, you left me now. Right? Side C, Rock Me Gently by Andy Kim. And it's another song by the Hollies, The Air That I Breathe. That's a good song too. and Rock the Boat by the Hughes Corporation. And side D, one of my favorite songs, Midnight Train to Georgia by Gladys Knight and the Pips. I love that song. I know it was originally done by Vicki Lawrence. If you know Vicki Lawrence, she was the main role in Mama's Family. She did the original version. Looking Glass did a really good song called Brandy. Brandy. So this was pretty fun. You know, it was okay. But let's get back to the rock albums here. This is called Radioactive. And this will have side one. Every Little Thing She Does Is Magic by the Police. The Voice by the Moody Blues. Take It on the Run by REO Speedwagon. You Better Bet Your Life by The Who. Private Eyes, They're Watching You, right, by Hall & Oates. And on side 2, Lady You Bring Me Down by the Commodores. And Rick James with Super Freak. And then after that you got Genesis with No Reply at All. I mean, man, what kind of a fun listen is this? And Working in the Coal Mine by Devo. And Our Lips Are Sealed by the Go-Go's. And then Rapture by Blondie. You know what? I think I'm going to put in side 2. Yeah, this when I'm through with this. You know what's really fun about this one here? The next 2 are going to be pretty... Oh, wow. Next 3, 4... Ooh. That's some interesting stuff. All-Star Country. I bought this for $1. Okay? I bought this for $1, and this is a 4-record set. This is more country of the early 80s, maybe a little bit of late 70s, but songs like On the Other Hand by Randy Travis, that's a great song. And I'll Never Be in Love Again by Don Williams. So yeah, these are mid-80s. George Strait is on here. Does Fort Worth Ever Cross Your Mind? The great Emmylou Harris is on here. If I Can Only Win Your Love. That one was from 75. Mama, He's Crazy by the Judds is a good song too. Let's see what else is here that might strike a chord in all of us. Let me see. I keep on going through these to see if anything pops up, but Baby's Got Her Blue Jeans On by Mel McDaniel. I always thought that was somebody else. Now I can see why it was $1. But the aforementioned songs are good songs. Now, this was a record my wife had. And it's fascinating what it is. It's John Lander's Hit Music USA. Now, for us that were born in the 70s and got into music in the 80s, we all have heard of John Lander's Countdown. It's like the top 40. Well, this was an episode that was taken from one of those shows. I don't know how it was done or how my wife got it. And also what it has here are the liner notes. And this is, you know, the liner notes. And also this has the commercials in there. The commercials are fun when they're from the 80s and, you know, the Flintstones are on there and stuff like that. But this will have songs. Let's go through the songs. Rock Me Amadeus by Falco. The Miami Vice theme song. And The Greatest Love of All by Whitney Houston. And then they do a commercial break. And then ROCK in the USA by John Cougar Mellencamp. And What Have You Done For Me Lately by Janet Jackson. Man, this is fun. Heaven by Bryan Adams. And then there's an interview with New Shoes. And the Harlem Shuffle by the Rolling Stones. The Flintstones have a spot. And then Take Me Home by Phil Collins. Bad Boy by Miami Sound Machine. Woo, a Dr. Pepper commercial. Addicted to Love by Robert Palmer. Into the Groove by Madonna. Another commercial spot. This will have what you need by NXS and These Dreams by Heart. Another commercial pops up. Somebody's Watching Me by Rockwell. Maybe this is CIA. Your Love by The Outfield. Great song. I love that song. But I talked about The Outfield with that song with their album Play Deep. And this will have Whitney Houston's How Well I Know. All I Need Is a Miracle by Mike and the Mechanics. Did I? Yeah, I talked about that, right? Yeah, I did. And then I believe, wow. Why Can't This Be Love? Oh, by Van Halen. Why Can't This Be Love? In My House by Mary Jane Girls, and the West End Girls by the Pet Shop Boys. Man, this is great. Jeez. Sister Christian by Night Ranger, and Kiss by Prince. All the Things She Said by Simple Minds. Nikita by Elton John. Nikita, you will never know. Yeah, this also has St. Elmo's Fire by John Parr. We all remember that song. Footloose by Kenny Loggins. Manic Monday by the Bangles. On My Own with LaBelle and Mike McDonald. Woo! That's great. Great stuff. And all the albums are here. So they're really... this is just fun to listen to. And it's a countdown. You know? It's a countdown. Alright. Let's keep on going. I've got a few left. Thanks for being with me. This is so much fun. I have a great time doing this with you guys. I just do. The Best of Metal Blade, Volume 1. Here's the inside of it. Look at that artwork from the EPs and album covers from different bands. Let's go through the bands that are on here. Woo! Songs, the band Trouble. Now this is going to be heavy metal. Okay, Anvil is on here. Fate's Warning, Diamond Head, Hollow's Eve, Sacrifice. Ooh, Lizzie Borden and Slayer. Slayer's on here. This will be one of their first time, not first time, but you know, they had already released probably an album or two. The song on here by Slayer is Die by the Sword, and it is live on here. And also Hollow's Eve doing Speed Freak. Anvil doing Concrete Jungle, Lizzie Borden doing Me Against the World, and Anarchy Divine by Fate's Warning. If you're not too familiar with Fate's Warning, that is a band that Metallica loves. Also with Diamond Head, Am I Evil, the original version of I Am Evil. Of course, Metallica does it on the Garage Days. Yeah, this is a really fun list too. I don't even know where I found this, and this was Volume 3. Ugh, that was Volume 1. This is Volume 1. This is the Best of Metal Blade. And this will have a lot of the same bands that were on there. Plunging to Megadeth by Hollow's Eve. Celtic Frost doing Circle of the Tyrants. Slayer doing Chemical Warfare from their EP Haunting the Chapel. Fate's Warning again. Lizzie Borden is on here as well. Slayer with Necrophiliac off of Hell Awaits. Metal Church is on here. Voivod is on here. Slayer again. Evil Has No Boundaries live in New York. Fate's Warning is on here. So yeah, this is just great heavy metal stuff from the early to mid 80s. And what we have here is Let Them Eat Rock. Let Them Eat Rock. And the songs on here, woo! Grim Reaper doing Final Scream. Judas Priest doing Diamonds and Rust. Autograph is on here with Six String Fever And Scorpions doing Virgin Killer is on there as well. That was Scorpions from the, I believe Virgin Killer was like from 77, 78, around that time. White Heat, Masters of Metal. Now we're getting into the hit songs of pop metal, I believe. Maybe not pop metal. Rock You Like a Hurricane by Scorpions. Distant Early Warning by Rush. That's fun. Tell Me What You Want by Zebra. Lay It on the Line by Triumph. And Holy Diver by Dio. Yeah, this is some good stuff. You Got Nothing Coming by Judas Priest. Black Sabbath doing Heaven and Hell with Dio. Twisted Sister, I Am, I'm Me. And Come On Feel the Noise by Quiet Riot. Yeah, this was some good hard rock that's there on the edge of hard and heavy. This is called Craze and All Out Metal Assault. Pretty cool stuff on here too. Side 1, Quiet Riot with Bang Your Head. An early song by Queensryche called Deliverance. Zebra is on here again. And Dio doing Mystery. Side 2, Armored Saint, Can You Believe? And Still Loving You by the Scorpions. And last but not least, hasn't this been a fun time, guys? Hasn't this been fun going through all these different genres, all these great songs, and it all ends with this one, Masters of Metal. This one we have Trashed by Black Sabbath. That is the only, this was off the album Born Evil. Was it Born Evil? I think it was Born Evil. With Ian Gillan. This was their only album with Ian Gillan. Trash, that's a great song. Breaking the Chains by Dawkins. Dio doing Rainbow in the Dark. Screaming at Night by Crocus. And Lick It Up by Kiss. Lick It Up! And then side 2, Street of Dreams by Rainbow. Run to the Hills by Iron Maiden. Tom Sawyer by Rush. You Can't Stop Rock and Roll by Twisted Sister. And then, I mentioned that I didn't like the song by them, but it's okay. It just doesn't fit in, but Dancing in the Street by Van Halen. Van Halen is one of my favorite bands. I just don't like the version of Dancing in the Street. And it doesn't belong on here, but they didn't ask me to compilate it. But that is it for my compilations. Whew. I'm really glad that y'all joined me on this journey that I'm going through my records. I'm going through some good stuff, and I really enjoy sharing these with y'all. Well, my next episode, I've already gone through all my albums that I have, and what I'm going to start doing is I'm going to be doing special shows. I'll be doing my top 20 on my records back here. I will pull out my top 20, and also debut albums and the history and why I picked them why I picked out certain debut albums to talk about, because it all led to a great, fascinating careers. And also, I'm going to be doing something called Vinyl Battles, where I'm going to pit two big bands or big artists that released albums around the same times and compare them and see who wins. Vinyl Battles. So thanks a lot for joining me, and please go back to my earlier episodes where I went A through Z. Very similar to what I did with the compilations here. And when I go through my top 20, I'm not going to go through songs, because if y'all want to hear me go through the songs, y'all can easily go back to the A through Z of those specific bands. What I'm going to be doing here is I'm going to be giving the history of that album and a little bit more of what was the going ins and outs of the bands or the artists at that time, instead of just reading off the names of the songs. If y'all want to know, like I said, you could go back to the other episodes. So I will see you then, when my next episode will be the Blackspinner's top 20 of my vinyl. So take care of yourselves and keep on rocking. I'll see y'all next time.